Someone needed to teach her a lesson. Someone needed to remind her that actions have consequences, and I was more than happy to volunteer. It all started last month at our HOA meeting. Karen, yes, that Karen, strutted over to me and said, "Didn't you read our HOA rule book?" Her voice was sharp enough to slice glass. The room went silent. Then she announced, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Pet spiders are not allowed here." I froze. How did she even know about Shadow? My tiny, harmless pet spider who lived quietly in a tank on my den shelf, hidden from the world. No one knew he existed, not even my nosy next door neighbor. So, how on earth did she find out? Was she psychic? Or did she have cameras hidden under that tacky blonde wig of hers? The thought made my skin crawl. I tried to play it cool and asked how she knew. She smirked, crossed her arms over that faded pink cardigan, and said, "I'm the HOA president. I know stuff." Everyone laughed like she just told a joke, but I didn't. My stomach twisted. There was no way she could have guessed, unless she'd been somewhere she shouldn't. That night, I sat in the living room staring at Shadow's tank. His tiny legs crawled calmly across the glass while my brain spun in circles. Was she bluffing? Or had she actually been inside my house? And just like that, a chill ran down my spine. My locks, my privacy, had they already been invaded? Before we go any further, comment where in the world you're watching from, and make sure to subscribe to Silent Divide Tales, because tomorrow's story is one you definitely don't want to miss. A few days later, I was dragging myself home from work, tie loosened, keys jangling, half dead from the day, when I spotted her. Karen, standing right at the edge of my driveway like she owned the street. She didn't even pretend to be passing by. She folded her arms and gave that smug little smirk. "You still haven't removed that spider," she said. "Don't attract the wrath of the HOA. And by the way, your house smells like—" I froze mid-step. "Excuse me? My house smells like what?" She didn't answer, just smiled that evil PTA mom smile, turned on her orthopedic heels, and strutted off like she just won a prize. The second she disappeared, I dropped my bag and ran inside. The smell wasn't the point. The implication was, how did she know what my house smelled like unless she'd been inside? I scanned the room carefully. Everything looked the same, almost. Then I noticed it. Shadow's tank had been moved slightly. My chest tightened. I leaned closer and inhaled. Perfume. Not just any perfume. The exact same flowery one Karen had been wearing at the meeting. That's when it hit me. I hadn't been paranoid all this time. I'd been invaded. My heart pounded as I sat down, connecting every creepy dot. The misplaced keys, the unlocked doors, the weird drafts I'd brushed off as nothing. She'd been sneaking into my home like some nosy raccoon in a cardigan. Fury replaced fear. I stormed across the street and banged on her door so hard the wreath nearly fell off. She opened it with that fake, sugary tone. "Yes? Did you come into my house?" I asked. Her smile vanished. "What are you talking about? Accusing your HOA president could get you in serious trouble." She leaned in, voice dripping with mock concern. "You should really get rid of that spider before I do it myself." Then she shut the door in my face. I stood there, fists shaking, blood boiling. She wanted to play games? Fine. I was about to play one she'd never forget. If she wanted to crawl into my house like a cockroach, I was going to give her a good reason to regret it. So I called Mark. Old friend, welder, the only guy I trust with a grinder and a short fuse. Could he actually build something that wouldn't collapse the minute Karen tried to wiggle out? He laughed until I explained, then showed up 2 nights later with a welded steel frame in the back of his beat-up pickup. We hauled that thing inside under cover of darkness like it was contraband. It looked mean, like something from a survivalist's nightmare, and I almost felt guilty setting it up in my living room. Almost. I placed Shadow's tank in the center like a tiny stupid trophy, then taped a big clipboard to the cage with HOA violations scribbled in thick red marker. Would her ego resist reading that? Of course not. I dressed the bait carefully. Cameras in every corner, motion sensors, extra locks checked twice. Mark gave me the nod and said, "This is crazy, man." I said, "Crazy works." Then I went to work the next day pretending to be a boring office drone while my living room turned into a stage set for karma. Could she actually take the bait? I watched the live feed with my heart in my throat. When the figure appeared in the doorway, with that same smug posture, I felt a cold, electric thrill. Karen sniffed the air, nose twitching, then marched straight to the cage like a queen approaching her court. "What the hell is this?" she muttered, but curiosity ate her words. She leaned in, reached for Shadow's tank, and in that exact second I slammed the lock. The look on her face, wide eyes, mouth open, cheeks flushing red with fury, was priceless. She rattled the bars and shrieked, "You can't do this to me!" Could she actually believe her HOA badge gave her license to violate private homes? I held my phone up, recording every second, and felt a strange mix of righteous glee and nervous sweat. Then I dialed 911. My voice sounded calm, but my heart was doing drum rolls. "Yes, I'd like to report a break-in. The intruder is secured." Sirens came in the distance. Would the officers laugh or take her seriously? Minutes later, my living room flashed red and blue like a low-budget crime scene. Two officers stepped inside, froze, and burst out laughing. There she was, Karen, the almighty HOA president, clutching the steel bars like a furious zoo exhibit. "Sir, care to explain?" one officer asked between chuckles. I handed them the footage, every second of her sneaking in, touching my stuff, threatening me, mocking my spider. Karen screamed from the cage, "This is illegal! He trapped me like an animal. I'm the HOA president. I have authority." Yeah, well, not anymore. The officer just shook his head. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for unlawful entry and harassment." The look on her face, like someone had just told her that Target was closing forever, was pure gold. At the station, more dirt came out. Turns out she'd cloned my keys from the previous homeowner, meaning this wasn't her first time playing secret agent HOA. She'd been slipping in whenever she pleased. My paranoia hadn't been paranoia at all. It was evidence. When the court date came, Karen strutted in like she was auditioning for a courtroom drama. Her lawyer painted me as some deranged neighbor who built a torture chamber in his living room. Karen dabbed her eyes with tissues and cried, "He locked me like an animal." For a split second, I worried it might actually work, until my video rolled. Every smirk, every trespass, every fake act of community inspection. The jury saw everything. The judge leaned back, unimpressed. "Mrs. Karen," he said flatly, "this isn't community oversight. This is criminal trespassing." Her lawyer sputtered something about intent, but it was over. Karen was sentenced to 1 month in county jail. Not long, but long enough for the whole neighborhood to find out that their beloved HOA president had been caged like a rat. When I walked out of that courtroom, it felt like winning a heavyweight title. The whispers spread faster than gossip at a bake sale. Karen's reign? Over. My spider? Safe. My revenge? Sweet. And that's how karma finally paid her a visit, right in her own neighborhood. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Silent Divide Tales, where justice always finds its way home.